Well, hello. My name is Nicholas James Hobson, and I basically want to tell you all something. 30 years ago this year, I was diagnosed with a form of autism. High Functioning Autism I was diagnosed with when I was 9 years old in 1989. I mean, my school years weren't easy, to say the least. I had a lot of trouble fitting in with people, a lot of trouble making friends with people. I spent a lot of time on my own. Even during the school holidays, I spent virtually all the time in my room. I even ate my meals in my room, away from my parents, because I love being on my own so much. You know. When I found out that I was autistic, well, I felt mixed emotions, really. I felt angry at the fact and upset at the fact that I wasn't like other people. But I also felt relief, because all my life I'd always known I'd been different from other people, but I didn't know how. So when at least I found out what it is that made me different, then I was relieved, because at least I knew then what was wrong with me. And when I was 16 years old, I lived at a place called Ashley College in Newcastle upon Tyne, which is a specialist place for people with Asperger's syndrome and autism. I fitted in much better there than I did at school, because I was with people who were on my wavelength, so to speak. I lived in the northeast for a few years, and eventually I moved back to Bridlington in 2005. And I've been living in my own flat independently for almost 15 years now. I know, because when I was young, my mum thought that I would never be able to live independently. But I proved everybody wrong. I was determined to do it. I mean, of course, because of my autism, life wasn't easy, well, it's had its ups and downs. I mean, everybody has good days and bad days. Just having a cup of tea. I drink a lot of tea. Anyway, everybody has their ups and downs. But having autism made it more challenging, because I had a nervous breakdown when I was 19 years old, because I had depression. I mean, luckily I haven't suffered from depression since. But, it wasn't easy for me at the time. But just a few years later, I moved to my own flat. I mean, of course, and since then I've coped better. Of course, I don't get stressed to anything like the same extent that I did when I was younger. Although I do regular exercise, I do body weight training. I do like 2 days on, 1 day off. 1 hour sessions, like 1 hour for my lower body, then 1 hour for my upper body the next day, and then a day off, and then my upper body, my lower body, upper body, day off, lower body, upper body, day off. And I tell you, that helps me manage stress a lot more, because physical activity is the best thing you can do to manage stress. Ever since I started doing that nearly 10 years ago, I've been a lot less stressed and a lot more relaxed. And a lot more self-confident. My self-confidence has just gone through the roof, I tell you. Of course, I'll always have high-functioning autism. I'll always have it. There's no cure for it. But you know what? If somebody said, would you like to take a magic pill that could get rid of your autism? I'd tell them to bugger off, basically, put it bluntly. Because my autism, it's what makes me who I am. I wouldn't be who I am without autism. Basically, this is the way I am. Like it or lump it. I mean, of course, one thing about autism is people with autism are often very blunt, often say what they think. I mean, when I was younger, I always used to say what I think, regardless of how much it upset the other person. But I've come on a long way since I was younger. I mean, I still say what I think. I still say exactly what I think, but I do it more tactfully. I mean, for example, if I think a girl's very pretty, I will tell her, but I won't just come out and tell her that she's very pretty. I will eventually, maybe after a few minutes, say to her, if you don't mind me saying, I think you're very pretty. I'll do it tactfully. Or if I don't like a dress that somebody's wearing, rather than saying, oh, I hate that dress, like I would have done in the past, I would say to them, I don't think it's your colour. Another colour might suit you better, or another design might suit you better. So I'd still be honest, but do it more tactfully. That's one of the ways I've come on. Other ways I've come on, I've got a better sense of humour than I had when I was younger. And because I remember when I was at school, I had a temper like a volcano. But ever since my nervous breakdown, ever since then, I've been able to control my temper a lot better. And now I hardly lose my temper at all now. I mean, of course, yes, I still have the odd bad day. I mean, everybody has bad days. I mean, we're only human after all. We're not robots or machines, are we? So, of course, we all have off days. But, you know, it's life, isn't it? Life has its ups and downs. But luckily nowadays, my life has a lot more ups than it does downs, which is good. I mean, autism is quite rare. About 700,000 people in the UK out of 65 million. I won't say suffer from it because it's not a disease. It's part of your personality. So I will say have autism. But that's like just over 1% of the population. That means 99% of the population will never know what it's like to have autism. And yes, it can be challenging. But the thing is, autism is a gift as well. People with autism have very good abilities. Like I have a fantastic memory when it comes to remembering dates of birth and what day of the week a certain date falls on. Or with music, I love my music. You play me a song, I can tell you what year it came out, just literally hearing the first couple of seconds. I mean, of course, I prefer older music though, you know, music from the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s. It's a lot better than modern music, I have to say. And I'm well into cars as well. You know, I can remember loads of facts and figures about cars as well. That's one of my interests too. So, oh, I've been talking for nearly 10 minutes. Well, I won't keep you too much longer because, you know, but I think I've told you quite a lot about myself and my autism and how it affects me. And of course, I still spend a lot of time on my own. I always will. And I mean, I did have a girlfriend up until a couple of months ago. I split up with her though. I mean, I did love her, but she just never understood me, you know. I mean, she had learning difficulties herself, so I know that she couldn't help the way she was. But you know, it's the way it goes, isn't it? You know. sometimes a person who you think's right for you isn't. But anyway, that's life, isn't it? Anyway, I prefer being single anyway, so I prefer being on my own because I like being on my own a lot. I like having my own freedom, my own personal space, being able to do what I want when I want, which is good. So yeah, hope I've given you a good amount of information about my condition. I mean, if you want, you can look it up online. Asperger's syndrome or high functioning autism. It will tell you a lot about it online, about the basically the positives and the negatives. But then there are positives and negatives to everything in life, aren't there? So right, anyway, I've been on for 11 minutes, so I think I've talked enough, but I'm sure that you'll find this video quite interesting. You know, if you'd like to watch it, feel free. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want to. We've all got freedom of choice, but if you want to, then you're more than welcome to. Anyway, I shall talk to you all again later. So, ta-ra.